What's shaking? Welcome back. I'm Rick Jordan, and today we're going all in. You're going to want to share this out with 3 people today. I'm going to ask you, please share this out with at least 3 people. I'm going to bust a myth today, and that's why you're going to want to hear this along with all of your friends and people who I'm sure are going to pop in your head along the way, right? Now, I've done a lot of personal work on myself, and I think it's very, very important to do that. I have had coach after coach. Actually, right now, I even have, 3 coaches that I work with presently and several mentors that I can bounce things off of. It's very, very important to have a multitude of counselors around you in life, in business, especially in business. Even last week, I was at an event and I spoke. I filled in for Kevin Harrington, who's a mentor of mine. He's also on the board of my company. And just an amazing, amazing friend as well. And he was sick, and I filled in for him for his talk slot. I went up on stage. I really moved the crowd. It was pretty amazing. And still, this is a mastermind that both he and I are members of. And on the final day, they were going around, and they were saying, "Hey, what's one of the things you pulled out of this week and you're going to take back with you?" And for me, it was this. Because one of the reasons I stay part of this group, part of Board of Advisors, is the wisdom that exists there. Now, I've done some pretty big things, a lot of successes. I'm continuing to do really big things right now. And that's what I said to the group. It's like, I know it's easy to look at me and say, oh my God, Rick's just crushing it there. And I love when he speaks, and this is what they're saying. It's like, time after time after time again over the 2 days after I spoke, like, man, thank you. You really inspired me, man. Thank you. You really gave me the kick in the pants. And I will just say, you're welcome. It's a compliment to you as one when you hear these things and you're on stage and you're able to motivate people to take action, which is one thing I really, really love to do, to actually take action, to do something. Right, to make a choice, to make a shift, to take control of something, or realize that you have control over what's going on, that everything is in your control. And that's the phrase that I want to center on after I say this. As we were going around in that circle, I said, the one thing that I really appreciate is from people who I see as mentors to me in this group. Of course, Kevin is one of them, but then there's other individuals that have maybe about 20 years beyond me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm 42. And I am looking up to people who are in their 60s at this point, and 70s at this point, because the wealth of knowledge that they have is just absolutely incredible to me. And they are in a mode in life to where they are just giving back, and all they want to see people like me succeed. It's mind-blowing, and I am so grateful for people like that in my life, like the Jimmy Ralphs and the Stan Padgetts and the Kevin Harringtons and the Darren Jacklins, for all these mentors, so I have these mentors and I have these coaches that I work with, and coaches that will go through mindset things with you, which, as you've been listening to me for a while. If you have, I am really, really big into mindset, and there's shifts that you have to take to where you realize that the choice is actually yours. And I've said this over and over again, is that the choice is really yours. And even the lack of making a choice is still a choice, because you're choosing to stay where you're at right now. And then there's this caveat, because it sounds all good on Instagram and clips and other things, short stories and these things that can go viral, that have gone viral on my feed. It's like the choice is yours. If you're not making a choice, you're still making a choice. All these things. Here's the real talk about this, is that for the most part, that is 100% true. I sound like freaking Anchorman now, right? Brian Fantana, it's like 60% of the time, it works all the time. That was Sex Panther. That was the cologne, if you remember right. It was pretty hilarious, right? As he opens up the cologne cabinets. And there's this thing though, because I was talking with one of my people the other day, and I was like, dude, it's okay. And this doesn't come out of my mouth often, because something was just going a little awry, a little crazy. And I'm like, you know what? There's just some things that you can't control. There's things that you can influence, of course, and probably almost everything in life you can influence. And there's the majority of things you can control. So in life, the majority of things you can control. The remaining portion, for the most part, you can influence. And the last bit you absolutely can't control. No joke, right? Me having twins, okay? That was Jana's thing, and it's a hereditary thing. Can't control it. It just happens. How she was made, right? It's a condition called hyperovulation. If you didn't know, that's actually how fraternal twins are born. That's the hereditary thing. And it's only with the woman because they release more than one egg at a time. Can't control it. Can't even influence it. Just something you can't control, right? Tornado dropping from the sky. Can't control it. Can't even influence it. Just it's something you absolutely can't control. And some extremists might argue in that circumstance. And it's like, well, you could have not lived there, right, in Chicago or in Oklahoma or Texas. It's like, whatever. Okay, so maybe you can slightly influence it. Fine. But that's stupid to think that you're going to think about tornadoes or even hurricanes from living in Florida or whatever as something that you're trying to influence or control in your life. To me, that's a little overboard. But situations like this where I had a client and he said, shook hands on the deal, and it's like, awesome, solid price, doing it, send me it, I'm signing it. With the understanding that it's like, cool, there it is. And then the very next day, literally 24 hours, that's all it took to get the docs to him. Very quick, very fast return, doesn't sign it. I can't control it. I can influence that, right? But there's no way that I can control it. And from my understanding, from the words that came from this dude's mouth, that he was going to sign it. I can't control literally putting his hand to that paper or clicking in DocuSign. I can't force him to do those things. Can I influence that one? Possibly, but I had gotten it to the point to where there was a yes in sales, but then the next day he just doesn't do it. Just doesn't take action. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And it gets frustrating. But these coaches that will tell you, and they could have told me, now I am really good in sales because I'm pretty factual. I'm straight up, and I've gotten better, of course, as the years go by. But there's coaches that will tell me no matter what happens in your life, it's like you can always control it. You always have a choice. And while that's mostly true, how do you control somebody who got cancer? Right? My grandfather passed away from colon cancer at age 73. That's a hereditary thing. Absolutely nothing he could have done in lifestyle, in diet, or anything else. My dad, my own father, passed away when I was just 16 years old. He was 46 because of a genetic thing, leukemia, CML, a form of leukemia, that there is a chromosome that flips, like connects in a reverse fashion on conception. So literally when the sperm and the egg combine is when this happens, and then the condition activates sometime in middle age. Can't control it, can't influence it, no matter what. I hope you're picking this up today because things that happen, there's still crap that can happen to you that is of either no fault of your own or of somebody else's, and it can still impact your life. If you ever have a coach that just comes at you and says, well, it was your choice, no matter if the situation was crazy, now good choices will help you understand and decide for yourself. And this is important. I want you to hear this. Good coaches in your life will help you come to your own determination if you can control it or influence it. They will not tell you. A good coach will not tell you that you could have controlled it or you could have influenced whatever that situation is. They will help you. A good coach will help you make that determination on your own, because it's really up to you in your own power to know if you can control it or influence a situation, or if there was that small percentage that you could possibly never have controlled it no matter what. Right? So a good coach, and when you look for coaches, when you look for mentors, yes, you want people who will give it to you straight. You absolutely do. I appreciate that about my mentors, about my coaches that I work with. But if you ever have a coach that says, oh, you could have controlled that, or you could have influenced that, being like that, no, wrong. Fire that coach immediately, because a good coach will help you come to these realizations and these decisions on your own to where you are making them rather than being told what you should not have done. I hope you're tracking with me on this today, because this is important, especially for your growth in this moment. So if you're considering getting a coach or you look up to a mentor, if someone is telling you that you should have controlled that or you should have influenced that, that's a bad coach. A good coach will help you make that decision, that realization on your own. And that's what you have to look for, because that's your new growth point, is coming to these things with help. That's what a coach is, right? A coach is somebody who helps you get to that point, not somebody who freaking pushes you over the line to that point. A good coach will be there to guide you. A good coach will be there to help you see things that you may not have seen by literally just kind of turning your head and saying, hey, it's right there, just a little bit over to the right. And then you see it on your own, right? They can't open your eyes for you. If they turn your head and you still have your eyes closed, just like I could not grab that client's hand with a pen in it, shove a pen in it, and forcibly make him sign that thing, a good coach cannot make you open your eyes. They're not going to hold your eyelids open. You still have to do it on your own with the help of that individual. They can point you in the right direction, but you are still the one that has to open your eyes. I love you. I appreciate you. Go all in.